which
All right.
kind of like brings us on whilst we're on this call to the Woo Woo Weirdo Club project
The,
we're
the
looking at.
Woo Woo Weirdo Club. Yeah.
And this
Yeah.
may or may not get edited out of the publicity for Herwood Holistics and the retreat on the 6th of July, but it's a nascent podcast idea, isn't it?
It is. It is. And I'm quite excited about it. I'm very, very petrified about it, but
Why?
quite excited about it as well.
What petrifies you?
It's just being seen, isn't it? Like being seen, my opinions, my views, the way I see the world. I know I'm not alone in it, but to actually verbalize it and put it out there into the world can be quite scary. Um, so it's another step for me. When I'm teaching yoga, I think I've said to you before, I can kind of hide behind the yoga a little bit. So it's like,
Mm.
well, it's not me, it's the yoga and it's the teachings from yoga. But as I keep getting told by a lot of people, I've got, this certain abilities that come out and come through. So it's just trying to express that in a more public realm of podcast, really. I've got lots of ideas and concepts and I'm excited to share them, but it is a little bit nerve-wracking, I'm not gonna lie. But that's what we're here for. Get out of your comfort zone, get out of your comfort bubble. Always go to the edge and just push the edges and just explore and see where you can go. Step out, feel uncomfortable for a bit, and then that becomes comfortable and you can grow into that new space. So that's where I'm at the minute. It's just pushing boundaries left, right, and center for me personally. So yeah, very excited, but quite scared about it. But bring
Yeah,
it on,
well,
bring it on. What
same.
about you, Steve?
Me? Well,
Yeah.
a bit like your inner standing. Um,
Mm.
this phrase may or may not have been nicked, if you like. Although it just came and from an internet search, of course, it didn't show much about this.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I mean, just for the benefit of people who may pick this up, this popped out from some chats in the free man community on School, the SKOOL community, based, well, what would you describe them as? Platform. That's the word, isn't it?
Platform, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Platform.
I
It's a
mean, I
community
think,
platform.
yeah. So if we wind back, this was just out of a random post, but it was just come out of the ether from the muse or from the universe or whatever you want, whatever you believe in, really.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of a provocative and cheeky notion and title, actually. Um, I looked
I
up.
think I,
Go on.
I think it's fantastic name. I think it's really good.
Well, I think
Go
so
on, sorry.
too. I don't think, I mean, the intention behind the name is it's not supposed to be negative or critical or judgmental in any way. Quite the opposite. It's like, have I talked to you about Gnostic Jesus? Never
Not
talked to you about
directly, no.
Gnostic
No.
Jesus, have I? Well, you know what the Gnostics were? Gnostic. You
Yeah.
do, don't you? So obviously the Gnostics are where we get the word agnostic from. And a lot of people consider that this is anti-religious, anti-spiritual, but it's not. It's about looking for knowledge and searching. And there is a theory or a belief that Jesus was actually trained in the Gnostic ways by, amongst others, the Essenes. Dolores Cannon, the founder of QHHT, wrote books about Jesus and the Essenes. But without meaning to take this too much off the Woo Woo Weirdo Club, but this is the kind of thing I hope that we would be discussing. There is not an archetype. So obviously you're exploring archetypes in the Freeman School community. There's not necessarily an archetype, but this is. I was listening to a Transformation Conference podcast, and they were talking a guy talking about Gnostic Jesus, and he was talking about how Gnostic Jesus, if you like, the Jesus trained by the Gnostics. So there's not the current religious Jesus that we know and love. It was really all about four things, I guess. Number one, unconditional love. Number two, non-judgment. Number three, forgiveness. And number four, personal responsibility. And according to the Gnostics or the people who investigated the Gnostic Jesus thing, these were his teachings. This is what he wanted people to live by. And it seems to me that there's an incredible crossover there with yogic practices, other religions for a start. It doesn't sound like a bad way to live your life, but it's
Totally not.
intangible. No, yeah. Sorry, I don't really know where to look here. I mean, I'm not used to this, but So it's like intangible, isn't it?
Mm,
And that links us comes brings us back to the Woo Woo Weirdo Club. 'Cause if you look up the definition of woo or woo woo, it's kind of like negative and critical in its own way. It does sort of say usually used to criticize people comes from the sound that people would believe a ghost makes, like woo. So it's all woo woo. It's non-scientific. It's spiritual. It's things like crystals can heal you. Well, I think there's a place for science. I think there's a place for religion, but I think there's also a lot going on that people don't perceive necessarily or understand. And just because we don't perceive or understand, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So I think from my point of view, I wanted like the Woo Woo Weirdo Club to be a little bit like I'm normal. I consider myself
mm,
normal. I'm a bloke. I'm a heterosexual bloke. No, that's just me. Got no issues. I'm a male, middle-aged, white male. Um,
yeah.
I had a job. I live in Leeds in the north of England. I mean, what is normal? But I consider myself to be relatively normal. And yet I'm interested in this. I know there's
Yeah.
more to it. So it's like, why does the woo-woo, why does the woo-woo have to be negative? Therefore, we flip it on our head. It's like, all right, I'm a woo-woo weirdo. So what? Sue me. Yeah.
I might flip it on its head again there, Steve, to be honest with you, and just say like everybody's weird. You know,
Everybody is
what's
weird though, aren't
everybody's weird, isn't they? Everybody is weird. Like if you're 100% science, you're weird. If you're 100% this, you're weird. If people are just weird in general, like everybody, what is normal? There is no normal anymore, is there? I don't know what normal
they? Well,
is,
there never was
to
though,
be
was
fair.
there? There
No,
never was any
exactly.
normal.
People are people, aren't they? And they are who they are, and that's what I like about the woo woo. Yeah, it's spiritual. That it's called pseudoscience, I think, wasn't it? When we looked
Yeah.
it up, the pseudoscience behind it. But I mean, what you find with spirituality is these ancient civilizations from 5,000, even beyond that. I've done research into 20,000-year-old civilizations that had this kind of information, and they knew stuff that science is only just catching up with now. When you get into the world of physics now, they're talking about what spirituality was back then. So for those people that kind of say it is, pseudoscience and woo woo and just make believe, then they need to start researching into the deeper sciences and just look at the overlaps. When you get some of the big physicists in the world, they start leaning towards spirituality because of what they're discovering through science. So the woo woo and the science is just completely entwined, and that's what I love about it. That's what I've always, since been doing yoga and looking at the spirituality and the philosophy, that just completely resonated with me. Started looking at the scientific side of it because we're taught to think, aren't we? We're taught to use our brains and think about it and think and analyze and this, that, and the other. Although it felt right, I still needed that reassurance from science to overlap. And the more I looked into it, the more I just saw they're the same. They're the
Mm.
same. Words don't explain it. The maths doesn't explain it. It's all there explained in the ancient texts, and that's what I love about it. And the fact of the weirdo, if you can't embrace your inner weirdness, then you're missing a trick again. So I find almost being called weird like as good because it's an expression of me and my wholeness. If it doesn't resonate with you, that's fine. But we
Mm.
should be allowed to express as long as we're not causing harm to people.
Yeah.
Then we can express and learn to open up and discuss these kind of things like telepathy and telekinesis and the heart resonating frequencies out. I've got all sorts of ideas about what happens with these frequencies. And again, I know I'm not alone in science and spirituality about these concepts. But to say that you're weird for talking about it, it just shows how closed off other people are. So it's just express it, like bring on the weirdness, basically.
Bring on
Open
the
it up. Allow
weirdness.
yourself to be weird. Allow yourself to be seen. Allow yourself to think outside of the box and drop more into the heart and see how it feels with situations and conversations and the information that you're absorbing. See how it feels in the body. That's what I like about it, and I just think it's a fantastic name. And we laughed about it because it was just it's just funny,
It's
wasn't it? And
funny,
that's
yeah.
it.
It's like, all right.
If you take offence to it, maybe have a little look at yourself and just just
Ah,
ask yourself why.
that's an
But
interesting point.
yeah, yeah. So
That's an
and
interesting point.
I have been triggered. I have been triggered by comedians as well. JP Sears, I think it was, the geezer with the ginger hair, man. And when I first watched him, he did trigger me. And then I was like, actually, why is that bothering me? So it's in, I mean, he was taking a mick out of spirituality, and it was quite early in my
Oh,
journey on it.
right.
And I was like, oh, I took all offense to it and stuff. And I was like, get over yourself, Matt.
That's
Get over
interesting.
yourself.
Yeah.
So yeah, so explore it, explore it. Um, I think there's so much that you can talk about with the Woo Woo Weirdo Club, because what isn't weird? Like,
We can start
and
with
there's
what
so
is
much.
woo woo, what is weird. I mean, like, so we can we can objectively define normal. We could
Yeah.
say that that is the majority, right? That would
Mm,
be one way of defining normal. But
mhm,
within the majority, so let's just say that at the moment in this country, the majority of people are heterosexual, for example, just on a numbers game with no
mm,
judgment. Again, go back to Gnostic Jesus, no judgment. Okay, so take heterosexual people. If you were to able to peer into their brains and their minds or what they were thinking, you will find that they are thinking like wacky and weird and amazing things that are just
yeah.
like stuff that I would never think, or stuff that, NLP, neuro linguistic programming, taught me. We don't process everything. We delete, we generalize, we distort. You can't read people's minds. People's minds are also deceiving them, potentially. I
Yeah.
even had an incident on
Mm,
Saturday where I completely misunderstood the purpose and contents of a text message through a platform. And to be honest, I was like, well, I saw the person and said, does this mean this? No, not at all. And you're like, oh,
mm,
wow. We need to look at that, because it's like, why am I thinking that? So there's everybody's thinking different things, feeling different things. So even within the objective numbers game normality,
yeah.
not everybody wants the same thing. Not everybody thinks the same. Not everybody acts the same. Therefore, everybody must be weird
Mm, exactly.
because
Yeah.
they're not doing the same. I mean, and then if,
Yeah.
if people weren't weird, how boring would it be?
And then does that make everybody the minority as well?
Well, yeah. I mean, we're all minorities of one or majorities of one, aren't we? But actually,
Yeah.
we're probably in our own minds, in our own consciousness, we are probably a majority of one. So if you
Mm,
actually then, I've not done this properly, but if you start to pay attention to the thoughts that you have, I mean, there's something that you're talking about in the free man community. Well, we're talking about pay attention to your feelings, your thoughts, more your thoughts on this one. Start really analyzing objectively as much as you can. 'Cause you can't do it objectively because you're you, but you try, you make an effort, and you realize, oh my word, I am spending most of my time thinking about me. Me. What do I think? What do I think? What do I think? I mean, this actually helped me to get over worrying about what other people think about me, because once we've already made this realization, it's like, well, everybody's just thinking of themselves anyway, and what they're thinking, what I'm going to think about them, like I'm thinking what I'm going to. So we're all like a majority of one, aren't we? If we're true to ourselves, we're just really thinking. Oh, like right now, I'm thinking, what's Matt thinking about what I'm saying? Is he going to think I'm crazy? And
and I'm
words,
potentially thinking, how am I going to reply to this as well? So yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and it's
Oh yeah, well there's another point about like active listening and passive
mm,
listening and not
mm,
listening at all and just
yeah,
waiting for your turn to speak. I find
mm,
in this a bit of an odd thing because I'm like looking at a little green dot on the display there so that it looks like I'm looking at you. And I actually can't
mm.
see you. Well, I can. So you're nodding. Hi. Well, I won't do what I would normally do in response to that because it would probably get filtered out for obscenity. But something to do with English archers at Agincourt. Look it up.
Mhm.
Um, so it's like, if I start looking at your eyes now, I'm sure I'm not looking at the camera.
You're not looking at the camera, no. It's
No,
it's an alien thing, isn't it? It's a
yeah,
strange thing. I mean, even that comes into the woo woo stuff, doesn't it? Like, how is this normal? It's
it is not.
communication via digital. Like, I'm looking at a camera to look at you in the eyes, but if I look at you in the eyes, I'm not looking at the camera. So how, even that comes into the realm of the woo woo stuff. Like this is not normal. We're losing connection, although we are still connected, and it's that separation and connection. And yeah, it's good.
And
It's the
yeah,
same thing in real life, isn't it?
yeah.
Our hearts are still connected. Like I posted something in the group the other day and you written a meme or a banner and
Mhm.
sent it to another group independently, but they were overlapping the same conversation. So, it's like we are separate entities, we are individuals, but at the same time, we are all one and we are all connected in everything that we do. So there's no normal, is there? When you
No.
look at it, and the normal is the abstract. That's the normal. It's, um,
Wow.
oh,
Yeah.
it's fantastic.
The normal is the abstract. Yeah. Normal is not the territory. Wow. Wow. Maybe that's something to ponder on. It was interesting you're saying about getting triggered by a comedian questioning spirituality. It's like, why would you get triggered by that other than it goes to the core of what, you're exploring new belief systems and somebody questions those belief systems like a dagger to the heart, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah. It
why?
was
Why?
interesting to observe. It was
Yeah.
interesting to observe, and it took me, I don't know, maybe a week or something to just look at it and go back to it and just go, actually, get over it.
Yeah. That's
And he
his
is really
stuff, isn't
funny.
it?
I love it. I love his stuff.
Yeah.
He's really funny. So, and he is spiritual as well. So it's like,
Maybe he was saying it to trigger you though, right? Or not
yeah,
you,
yeah,
but people.
yeah. Just trigger people in general. Yeah,
This is
and that's what comedy. That's what comedy is, isn't it? It's cutting edge, isn't it? If you're not offending somebody, then it's not
what's the
necessarily good
point?
comedy. Yeah, what's the point? Yeah. And that's
But
that's something else we can talk about. People taking offence. I mean, there's just it's just such a vast subject that we can go into about anything at any time.
so our intention behind starting a podcast or whatever this becomes called the
Yeah,
Woo Woo Weirdo Club is to discuss the woo woo,
the woo, the
the
woo
woo,
and the weirding
anything
and the
within the
weirdness,
woo, and
the
maybe
weirdness in
bring,
yeah, the
sorry,
woo and the weirdness, the weirdness in
yeah,
the woo and the woo and the weirdness, the weirdness in you and the weirdness in me,
the woo
the
in
woo in
you,
you. That's it.
the
Yeah,
you in woo.
the you in woo. Yeah,
Well, there's two, isn't there? There's W.
yeah.
This could go like silly, couldn't it? But yeah,
Yeah.
there's two
Well,
U's.
I think that's a good introduction to the Woo Woo Weirdo Club. I think, and I think it's quite a good start. To
I
be fair.
think so too. We just need to edit
Yeah.
it now, don't we? Or we need to
Or
convert it into whatever we need to convert it into. Oh,
convert
we're
it,
running out
edit
of
it.
time.
I don't know if we need to edit it, but we probably need to edit this bit out because we're talking about editing.